As we get ready for a new MLS season, FC Cincinnati have endured a tough start to the young journey in the league. But now in 2022, optimism is high. And part of that reason, and a big one, is their new head coach, Pat Noonan. A lot of experience as a player and assistant, but now he's the man in charge for the first time as head coach in the league. I chat to him as part of our MLS 2022 preview coverage and what we can expect from FC Cincinnati this time around. Qué Golazo with Pat Noonan. FC Cincy begins right now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Qué Golazo. Thank you so much for being part of the family. I don't want to take any more of its time. Pat Noonan, how are you, my friend? Welcome to CBS Sports and Qué Golazo.
Hi, Luis. Thanks for having me.
Pat, it's an absolute pleasure. Listen, I'm very excited to talk to you. You're a young man, and sometimes it's a good thing to see all these young coaches evolve in MLS. Of course, we'll talk about that in a second. But first of all, I want to ask you, Pat, has the city recovered from the Super Bowl loss? How are they feeling over there?
Tough loss. You know, it's a pretty remarkable story and season they had. So it was really nice to follow their success. You know, unfortunately, came up a little short, but certainly for those of us that are a part of FC Cincinnati, you know, we were really excited during their run and pleased with, you know, just how successful the season was for them. It was neat to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me a little bit about the city for a second. Obviously a big sports town, but what about its soccer culture? What are you finding out about it?
They're passionate. Again, that was part of, you know, in the interview process, what was so enticing about this opportunity was a very passionate fan base. I was able to experience it last year, visiting TQL and seeing, you know, how much it meant to the fans to support their team. It was special.
Yeah,
and so now it's trying to get out and reward them in the right ways on the field.
Absolutely. You mentioned the stadium. That is a beautiful stadium. How I bet you can't wait till it's all packed for the beginning of the season.
No question. No question. We, you know, we're excited for March 5th to step out on the field and show them the work we've been doing and hopefully reward them with a victory on that opening night.
I love it, Pat. All right, let's talk about you. Okay, this is your first head coaching role. You've got an impressive resume, my friend, as an assistant coach, former player, of course, a lot of experience. How much of a change is it stepping into that role of head manager?
Well, yeah, now the final say, you know, goes through myself. And in the past, you know, as an assistant, all of my opinions, all of my messaging is to help support the head coach. And so that's certainly the biggest difference is now as a head coach, you know, every, you know, training, every meeting, every message, you know, that's something that you're constantly thinking about and moving the team along in the right direction.
How much did you learn from Jim Curtin over the years, by the way? I mean, a manager I really value, of course, you know him. Do you still maintain a close relationship or have things changed now that you're rivals?
The relationship is still strong. We message each other quite frequently about all walks of life and all different things. But, you know, our time working together was a really, you know, special 4 years. I think we became better coaches every year. And I think as far as Jim and the head coach and the leader of the group, he found ways to improve our team every year. And that's hard to do in this league. And so, you know, certainly we're trying to emulate that here, but I became a better coach, you know, working under Jim.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, a great man, and obviously, hopefully prosperous with you and Cincy. Another mentor of yours, Bruce Arena, is still going strong in the league with the refs. His son Kenny is part of your coaching staff. Have you spoken with Bruce about your new role, or do you prefer to keep your cards close to your chest and just keep it professional?
I've spoken to him. He's a mentor of mine. He's a great resource. You know, he's been in my position for a long time, and he understands what success looks like. So it would be silly to not utilize his knowledge, his experience in helping to guide me in these early stages. So I've reached out, you know, plenty already, and he's always there to provide support. And so, you know, I'm very thankful for our relationship and his mentorship.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about your team here, your coaching team. Your assistant coach, Dominic Kinnear, is a 4-time MLS Cup winning coach. How much peace of mind does that give you to have a right-hand man with so much experience of the league?
I'm very fortunate to have Dom, as part of the staff. You can see, straight away just, why he's had the success that he's had in this league. He's a fantastic coach. He's been an incredible support, person for me in these early stages, with, just the messaging, the information, his opinion. He's another coach that's been in my shoes, and he's experienced success. So, if I'm experiencing things for the first time, or if I'm uncertain, I have no problem asking him, how would he have handled, this situation, when he was a head coach. And his knowledge and experience has been so helpful in helping me to make the right decisions early on.
All right, so we've talked a lot about people that have mentored you, your team. I want to talk about you, Pat Noonan. Okay, what do you think? What can we expect? What can Cincinnati fans expect from Pat Noonan's very own first season with this club?
Yeah, I've said this a few times now. We're looking to be a team that is aggressive in attacking the goal, and creating chances and scoring goals. We want to be an exciting team for our fans. A team that isn't afraid to go after the opponent, regardless of the venue, regardless of who the team is. We want to be confident and brave in how we play the game, and we want to do it, as a unit. How do we attack? How do we transition? How do we defend? How are we a team in all phases of the game? And so that's what we're working hard to establish right now. And again, hopefully when the season starts, the fans can see, where we're at in a positive way. And then the goal moving forward is to continue to find progress and success in what we're trying to do on the field, and how we establish a culture off the field.
FC Cincinnati, obviously, as I mentioned at the beginning, going through a little bit of a rough start at the beginning of the campaign in MLS. Preseason, it sounds like it's going well. Of course, a lot of optimism, as I mentioned. Is it a challenge, Pat, to lift morale after a disappointing campaign, or do you think it's just more like a amnesia, just have football amnesia, soccer amnesia, and just get ready for the new season?
I don't think it's been a challenge in finding a good morale within the group. Anytime you have a new coach, a new staff, new players coming in, there's the sense of, new opportunity for everybody. And so I think the players have been, very hungry, very excited about, this new opportunity for them. It's a chance to show right now in these early stages what they're about. And so the energy's been good. And I think, not just on the field, off the field as well. You're starting to see the relationships form, between the players, amongst the staff. All of this is part of, growing into a successful team and having a successful culture. So the morale's been good. I think, the messaging has been the past is the past. We're just focused on what we're trying to do now and moving forward. And I think the guys have been very receptive of that.
So as I mentioned as well at the start, you're a young manager, 41, but amazingly, there's 4 managers younger than you in MLS, Pat Noonan. What do you think that says about the league and the evolution, or I guess the painting of all coaches in MLS with such young managers in it?
Well, I think it shows that ownership groups, sporting directors, GMs, understand the value of league experience. I think that's the reason you're starting to see a lot of assistant coaches become head coaches. You look at the history of the league, a majority of MLS Cup winning coaches are American, and even the ones that maybe aren't American spent a lot of time in this league. The Ziggy Schmidts, Gary Smith, those coaches that have won, Peter Novak. A lot of the previous MLS Cup winning coaches and teams were coaches that spent time in this league and understand how to navigate an MLS regular season, how to navigate the postseason and find success.
Yeah, you mentioned GMs there. Your own GM, Chris Albright, former player, now general manager of the club. he was the man that hired you. What type of a roster culture do you think is he trying to construct here? Is he trying to build alongside with you now?
Well, early on, it's been, the importance of finding the right, pieces to improve in certain areas on the field, but also finding the right characters. I think we've seen early on, we need a couple pieces in terms of leadership and strong characters that come from winning cultures. We've added some pieces early on of players that are coming from teams that have won trophies, and that's still a focus of ours to get players in that understand what it looks like, what it feels like to win and to hold a trophy. And then certainly it's identifying players within how we want to play. And so Chris has been hard at work in trying to find the right pieces in our communications daily as far as how we can continue to improve that.
There's a lot of Philadelphia transplants, not just yourself, of course. Ray Gaddis, Alvis Powell, multiple coaches, general managers. Is Cincy trying to emulate the Union perspective, do you think? I mean, no shame in that. Philly Union is a very respected club. What do you think of that, specifically as well with the academy, right? So many talented players from the academy. Do you think Cincinnati also needs to put a lot of focus on the youth side of things?
Well, certainly there's things that we're going to bring from our time, working together in Philadelphia, because as you said, we found success in many ways, specifically, the youth development component of it. Early on when Chris and I, took these positions, the focus was to get the first team right. But with the understanding that we value youth development, and you can see early on with players that have been a part of preseason from our academy, there's some promising young talent and players that we're excited to continue to work with and see them continue to grow and eventually, help our first team and hopefully beyond. So we're not, comparing ourselves to the Union and their academy. They're, I think 6 years, more experience. So, it's going to take time to find, the quality maybe that Philadelphia is seeing and experiencing with first team success, with players being transferred out for big fees. We hope to get there, but we understand, we have a ways to go, and we're going to try to get the first team right and try to sprinkle in the right young talent that deserve to be a part of it.
Let's talk a little bit about the community itself. I mentioned about being a sports city, et cetera, but I think another important part is building that bridge, right, between the club and local youth teams and clubs, and sort of reaching out to the community. How important is that for you as well? Making sure that the local young talent, multicultural talent is evident and present and strengthened in order to build that youth setup that you're talking about.
Yeah, when we were, going through this process, Chris, myself, it was about how can we connect with the community, with our staff, with the players, being out in the community and being a part of the local scene and having, our fan base, our youth players seeing, FC Cincinnati coaches and players and messaging, things in a way where the hope is that these young promising players are eventually a part of our FC Cincinnati club. And, we're still relatively new in all this. We haven't spent much time in the actual city, but as we get settled, the focus will be to get out in the community and be a part of it and make sure that, the fan base and the community understands how important it is for us to be ingrained in this local scene. And hopefully they can sense the importance on our end and how much we want to be a part of this outside of just the product on the field.
Finally, Pat, one more question for you, just personally, my friend. Obviously, this is a big deal. You're in charge of a club, MLS. It's such a growing league, developing league. We're seeing so much talent now, move over to Europe as well, and the strengthening of that. As we're taping, it's a Champions League day. Brendan Aronson will be playing soon as well. How important is it to you to be part of this story of Major League Soccer as it's growing? How excited are you about that? Not even professionally, but just personally, especially as a former player. How do you see that?
Well, it gives me a lot of pride to know that I've, been a part of this league for almost 20 years. This is MLS is what I know. And so when you talk about the Brendan Aaronsons and the Mark McKenzie's, players that I've been fortunate enough to work for, to see them go on and have the success that they're having, that brings, me personally, a lot of pride and a lot of joy. They're in those positions because of themselves and the characters that they are, the quality they are as players, and their willingness to be coached and push to achieve bigger things. And so, for me as a coach, part of what I believe in is working with the young kids and giving them an opportunity when the time is right, and hopefully coaching and mentoring them in a way where we can see more of the Brendans and Marks, coming out of FC Cincinnati. I think that's very rewarding as a coach, and when I compare it to, something that is very important to me, and that's winning trophies. So winning trophies and seeing these young kids go on to bigger and better things is, a big reason why I do this. And so, again, I hope that FC Cincinnati has, our Brendans and our Marks coming out of our club in the near future.
Well, let's hope so, my friend. I wish FC Cincinnati the very best as MLS kicks off 2022 very, very soon. Pat Noonan, head coach of FC Cincy, thank you so much for being part of the show, my friend. Good luck with everything.
Thanks, Luis. Appreciate your time.